This is Word Module 2, Textbook Project 2.1. I've opened the document that I downloaded from MindTap as the start file, and I've set my Word window to show the rulers, to show the non-printing characters. I don't have it set to 120% because I want to see my whole width of my document, but you can adjust yours appropriately. And then we're ready to save the document as it says in the book, and on MindTap we'll go to File, Save As, choose a location for your file, and then this one will keep the name, but it will be called NPWD2_mortgage and then underscore your name. And the first thing we want to do is notice these comments that are visible along the right side of my document. If yours doesn't quite look like mine, you can change some of those settings in the Review tab at the top. Show Comments is selected on my document. If I click it again, then it's not selected and I see bubbles for the comments. Then if I click a bubble, it will show me the actual comment. But on this one, we want to have Show Comments selected, and we also want to make sure that in this tracking group it shows simple markup, otherwise it would show a lot of other suggested changes that have been made. Now we're going to go through and read the comments. We can scroll through and read them, or we can use the previous and next buttons in this comments group on the Review tab to help us do that. So we'll click Next, and it takes us to the first comment, which is just to review the notes. Then we can click Next again, and it takes us to the second comment, and it shows us what text it's referring to. And it says, I might want to use this paragraph in another document, but I'm concerned it might be too long. What is its total word count? So we want to reply to this comment. So first we can select this entire paragraph by using our mouse to select it, or remember, you can triple click a paragraph to select the entire paragraph. And then once the paragraph is selected, your status bar will show you how many words out of how many total words in the document, but how many words are selected out of how many total in the document. So the answer to her question is 89. So we can click in this comment and click the reply button and simply type 89. Be careful not to press enter after that 89. Then we'll click Next to go to the third comment, and it says to please insert your first and last name here. So we can just click after the colon, after prepared by, type a space, and then type your first and last name. And then we can delete this comment because we're through with it. So I'm going to click back in the comment, and then on the Review tab I can choose Delete and Delete again, and it will delete just that comment. Then I can click Previous 3 times to go back to the very first comment, and I don't need that comment anymore either, so I can go back to Review, Delete, and delete the very first comment in the document. So the only comment that should be left is this one where we've replied to it with the word count. Then we'll go down through the document, and as we're proofreading and looking at some of the changes, in the middle of page 2, I see this word considering that's all capitals. So I'm going to assume that that's a mistake, and I want to correct it for Sabrina. And so one quick way to correct the case of a word is to select it and then go to the home ribbon, and then on your change case button choose lowercase. And so we didn't have to retype it, we just had to change its case. But leave it selected, and we'll add a comment for Sabrina. We'll go back to the Review tab and choose New Comment, and it puts my name, since I'm logged into this computer as me, and I can type the comment that it shows in the book. We need to type I assumed, and again type it correctly, correct spelling, correct spacing. I assumed you didn't want this in all uppercase letters, comma, space, so I changed it to lowercase. And you do want to type the period since this is a sentence, but don't press enter after that period. So that's all we're going to do with the comments. So we can click show comments again up in the review tab to hide them. We can still see it as a bubble if we need to with the 2 comments that are in our document. Now we're going to go down to page 2 and find this numbered list of steps in the loan approval process, and we're going to move one of the steps above the other steps. So this application step number 4 is really out of order. We want it to go first. So one easy way to move text if it's close, a close position that you're going to move it to, is to first select the text. So I clicked in my left margin to the right of this option number 4 to select that entire paragraph. And then I'm going to move my mouse over the selected text, hold down your mouse button, and then drag, and that black vertical bar will mark where you're going to move the text to when you release your mouse button. So I want to move it until that bar is just before the S in supporting documents, and then release my mouse, and the text jumps up to the beginning of my list. Now we'll look at another way to move text. We'll scroll back up to the beginning of the document, and in this second paragraph, we want to select the last sentence of the paragraph. We can control click in that last sentence to select the entire sentence, including the period at the end. And then we're going to cut this on the home ribbon. We can choose the cut button, and that removes it from the document and puts it on the clipboard. And notice it did not remove the space though just before it. So that's just an extra space we need to get rid of by pressing your backspace key. And that deletes that space after the period. And so we have that sentence now saved in the clipboard, and we need to go to the bottom of page 2, click at the end of the second to last paragraph after this word reality, after the period, and then we'll click the paste button in the home ribbon, and just click the paste button, not the arrow below it in this case. And that adds the sentence, and it adds an extra space before it that we removed from the beginning of the document. Now that sentence is still on the clipboard, and we can see that by going to your home ribbon and opening this clipboard dialog launcher, the button in the lower right corner, and it actually opens this clipboard pane. You can see the sentence that we had just finished cutting and pasting, but it's still here, which means we could paste it again in another location. We can also use the clipboard when it's open like this. We can use it to cut or copy multiple sets of text, and it keeps a good number of them on the clipboard pane. So what we'll do in this case is move to the last sentence above the Getting Started heading. I'm sorry, it's down here. To the last sentence above the Getting Started heading, and we want to select this last sentence. So again, I can control click anywhere in that sentence just above Getting Started. And in this case, I want to leave the sentence here, but I want to copy it. So I'll click the copy button in the clipboard group, and you can see that it puts it in the clipboard pane. So now it's got the two things that I cut, and the one thing I cut and the one thing I copied. So they stay here, and they are useful for copying or pasting things from one document to another. So we can see that by going to the File menu, choosing New, Blank Document. So I still have my other document open, but it's in another window right now. Here's a new blank document. And on my clipboard pane, I can click the first item, and it pastes it at the beginning of my document. And it pastes it by default with this italics formatting of the word exactly. If I don't want to keep all the formatting, then you can use this Paste Options button that appears every time you paste text. You can click this Paste Options button and choose the Keep Text Only icon at the end, and that will paste the text but remove any special formatting that might have been with it. That's a very useful technique to use if you're copying and pasting something from the web and you don't want all of that web formatting in your document. So we've pasted one item. We're going to press Enter, and then we'll paste the second item. And then we're going to save this document by going to File, Save As, choose a location for it, and then it suggests the first text in the document is the name, but we want to give it the name NP_WD_2_ and then the word handout. And you don't have to have your name on this one. Just click Save, and then we can close by going to File, Close, and that closes that document but takes us right back to our previous document. We're finished with the clipboard, so we can clear all. It'll clear the things we cut and copied, and then we can close that clipboard pane. Next, we're going to use the navigation pane, which is available when you click Find on the Home ribbon, or if you see that screen tip when I'm pointing to Find, it says we can use Control F as a shortcut for Find. Either way, it opens the navigation pane. So I've opened it here. Now it looks like I have something selected in this search box, and that's because I had something selected in my text. So we'll get rid of that by clicking this X in the search box. So your search box should be empty at this point, and I'm just going to click in my text to deselect whatever I had selected. But then back in the navigation pane, if you click on Pages, it does show you a thumbnail of each page in your document, and for longer documents, of course, this is helpful to move from page to page. We'll talk about headings in Module 3, and then for today, we're going to look at the Results section of the navigation pane. Results is where we can search for specific text and locate it quickly in our document. So we are going to look for Prairie Savings and Loan. So we'll click in the search box and type Prairie Savings and Loan, and it shows us all the instances that it finds Prairie Savings and Loan in our document. Now you'll notice that some of them have capital letters and some don't. So let's say that we're only interested in those that are not capitalized. So that is an option that we can choose by clicking this arrow to the right of the search box, click Options, and click this first option of Match Case. And then click OK, and it greatly, it first cleared out our search box, so we have to type it again, Prairie Savings and Loan. And it should just find 3 instances that don't have capital letters in the name. And let's assume that we just want to look for them. So it found the first one. I can use these arrows to move up or down to each instance if I want to see where they are, or I can click directly on an instance to find it. If I instead am not just wanting to locate them, but maybe replace them with a capitalized version of the name, then I would again go to this arrow at the end of the search box, and I can choose Replace. And it brings up this dialog box for Find and Replace. I will point out there's also a Replace button on the Home ribbon, and that does the same thing. It brings up this Find and Replace dialog box. And it thinks we're still finding Prairie Savings and Loan, because that's what we were looking for, and in this case it's correct. We want that. And it's going to search down, and it's going to try to match the case. And then if it finds it, what we want to tell it to do is replace it with Prairie Savings and Loan with capital Prairie and capital Savings and capital Loan. So we choose to replace it, and then we tell it we want to find the next occurrence. Now, since I wasn't at the beginning of my document, it does tell me that it reached the end. It couldn't find any. Do I want to try searching from the beginning? And in this case, I say yes. But if you had started at the beginning, yours may not say that. but it'll find an instance and we want to replace that. And you can see in the text it did. It replaced it with the capital letters. And then it immediately finds the next instance. I want to replace that one. And then it'll find the third one, and I want to replace that one. And then we're finished. And then I can close that dialog box. Now we're going to go back to the beginning of the document. Control Home will get you there quickly. And then we want to select that title and use the title style on your home ribbon in the Styles group and center that title. In the paragraph group, use the center align. And then we want to apply some heading styles to the rest of these headings throughout the document. So the first one is types of loans. We can apply the heading 1 style and it immediately makes it a little nicer looking and stand out. We can scroll down and find qualifying for a home loan, select it and apply the heading 1 style. Do the same thing for the loan approval process, the heading 1 style, and the last one is getting started, heading 1. We can close the navigation pane, look through our document, save it, and submit it.